All right, trying something new here. I've been doing a couple of these, trying to work out the best way that I want to do this. So I've got my paint here, my top white. Let's put a little bit of that on, more on there. So I want to get this covered in colour. So what I want to do is just do my usual kind of puddle pouring, but I want to do it in a way that I'm going to be able to tilt this out and be left with a nice big amount of colour on there before I dip my cardboard in and swipe across here. So I just don't know how this is going to work, but I'm hoping that this is going to do what I want. So I'm not thinking too much about colours, I'm just using what I've got mixed up here. Just a few, so far they're mostly pigments, but if I can just get as much colour as possible before I tilt this, I'm hoping that I can stretch that colour right out to the edges till it's in the right thickness to swipe across, and then not tilt it. So this colour here looks a little bit probably boring from where you are looking. It's actually called Firefly, and it's a beautiful creamy, pinky, beigey, sparkly colour shift pigment from Sheleeart. And even though you can't see it there, it's got a beautiful pink in the light. So if everything goes to plan, that's going to look beautiful at the end. Right, so I want to get a big canvas full of colour before I start. So I've put a little bit too much paint on. First time sort of trying this though, so next time I'll know to go a little bit less paint. So what I want to do is swipe across this and then not have to tilt it again. So hopefully my negative space will be full of colour. Let's get rid of those bubbles. Okay, I think we've just about got enough off there now. So you could really go for any sort of pattern that you like. You could make them, you could make all the colours, you know, stripy or squiggly or however you want. I've gone for a bit of a random, crazy, drizzling it everywhere type method. Right, so now black's probably going to be better on top of that. Now I'm looking at that. So what I'm going to do is get some black onto this cardboard and get ready to give it a swipe. It's definitely going to be worth doing the black on top of these colours. Right, so I've just got a card, a big square thick business card I'm using, and I'm just going to get my paint in it like that. And go across the middle there. Now I might get a skinny a bit. And go Don't know about that. That was a bit of a crazy move. We might just even it up the top there a little bit. I suck with composition. That's probably why I love fluid art so much. It allows the painting to really I just want to get rid of that. I don't want that big bit there. It's kind of a bit weird. It's like now I want to tilt it. But anyway, it's I wonder if it's going to let me tilt that little bit off. If it's going to wreck that side. Come on. Don't do this. I'm sort of half starting to see what I was trying to achieve. Even though it's not quite perfect. It's definitely headed in the right direction of where I'm trying to go with this. So I think it gives it a really nice different sort of composition and beautiful shimmery negative space here, but it's sort of not really negative space, it's full of color. So I would love to see something like this on a larger scale, with some bright rainbow paints in the background. So I haven't got any rainbow paints mixed up, but what I'm going to do is grab another round and I just grabbed these little cheapies from Spotlight here in Australia. I think I got these on special for $3 each. They're really good value for practicing. I don't worry about taping up the back or anything. They don't have the best edges, which is why they're $3. But yeah, it's a really good way to practice how you're tilting your rounds. Just the same as those little cheapy square ones that I use for the same reason. Not really as much pressure as when I'm using a more expensive wooden board. Wow, I'm loving that one in the sun. Woo! Very pretty. Right, so I'm just going to do that again because I really liked where that was going. So let's try that again. I've got a blue there. I might put that in that this time, and I might put some black in, and we'll go with the white on the top just for opposite's sake. Now, I really don't want to put too much paint this time. Okay, so let's go for a silver, a blue, the gold, and the black. Where's the black? That's the wrong black. That's the one. Whoa. Okay. I hope this black doesn't do anything weird when I stretch it on here. It can be a little bit temperamental when it gets stretched. Well, that's not a very good shape, is it? We need to change that straight away because that's just bad. If you saw that. Goodness me. Too early for those sorts of images. All right, silver. Again, I haven't got any real plan here. Just want to make it, I guess making it into a circle shape, the color would be smart. That way when I tilt it off, it's going to be in the right shape. Rightio, I've got a bit of this blue here. Might as well use it up. I don't even know what this is, so don't ask. It's some blue from somewhere. from the paint box. I'm pretty sure it's a pigment by the look of it. Oh, it's got a bit of a greeny tinge to it. Might be a blue-green colour shifting one. They're pretty awesome. Now, might just go the interference gold. It's a little bit more subtle. Around there. Now I just want to put a bit of black, more black there, because I'm going to swipe across with the white this time. I do want it to be a bit darker on the top. I might just put, I'm not really too happy with those colours. I'm going to put a little bit of this rich gold on there, just in the middle there. All right, let's get our colour base happening. Too much paint again, my God. Gosh, what am I doing? Why can't I judge that properly? Gosh, too much. That wasn't really that smart. What was that? Okay. So that one's got a bit of ugly shapes there, but that's okay. I can swipe straight across that with the white and fix that bit. Right, let's see how we go with the white. So I'm just going to get a bit of that white on my cardboard here, and I'm going straight across this bit that I don't like that. And I might just do one skinnier one across the top there. I think the trick to this that I've just learned in the last couple of paintings is trying not to get it too thick where you're first starting, but then you don't really want to hook it on the edge either. I might just blow it off the edge a little bit like that. And maybe it'll let me tilt a little bit off the edge without ruining it too much. I think the possibilities with this is just sort of endless. It's going to let me tilt a little bit off there. I think I'll do that too, or it's not going to dry. It's a different way anyway. Just another way. I think I'm going to like that better once I get rid of that bit there. Yeah, I think this really is going to allow me personally to have a lot of practice with composition of a painting, which I usually really suck at. If I do a painting and the composition comes out beautiful, it's normally thanks to the paint actually doing it, not me. Which is why I struggled a lot with different styles of painting. So with the fluid art, you know, your composition can come out by accident, which is for someone lacking those sort of skills, which is why this is just such a beautiful, amazing way to paint that anybody can really have a go at it. I don't know why people say it's not real art, because anybody can do it. I mean, anybody can do it, and that's an amazing thing. Like, that should be a great thing. People that want to be creative and want to create art that might not otherwise have the skills or the natural talent can actually paint these pieces of beauty and be really happy with themselves because of it. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that's a great thing. I'm not taking anything away from incredible artists that do amazing things with brushes and are perfect with their composition, but there's nothing wrong with being proud of yourself for creating a beautiful piece of art with a simple technique like this. So don't let anybody ever tell you that it's not art. Okay, so I am digging this new thing here. Have to do a bigger one. I actually want to do one more. Actually, I'm going to do one more because I'm just opening it. I'm just really, really loving this, and I'm probably not going to stop. I've got nowhere to put that painting though. Hang on. I need to move you on to make space for more. I tell you what, I've got some artwork in the house. Whew. I'm trying to hide it now from my husband. There's so much of it that, yeah, he's like, this has got to stop at some point. So I just decided to pretend I'm not painting as many as I am. I'm just hiding them all over the place. I'm giving them away half the time to just get them out of here, to make room so I can do more. Probably not alone there. So even though they did come out quite cute looking, there's still a lot of, I mean, your judgment has to be just about perfect with the amount of your white base paint that you first put on, and also how much you tilt off. You get to know if it's going to be so thick that it's not going to all tilt off properly. But yeah, I mean, if you can tip it up in a vertical tilt like that and it's just sort of just dripping off the edge, then that's probably ready to flatten out and dry. But if you can go back this way and it's sort of pouring off all the edges, it's likely that it's just too thick still. So I'm going to try to hold back this time and really reduce that amount. Gosh, is that going to be enough? I always do this. Right, stop. I'm not going to do any more than that, so that I'm not wasting too much paint and I'm not going to be caught having to tilt too much off. So I wonder if I did a puddle. I might just do an actual puddle with them all on top of each other and see what happens when I tilt them out. Might make a different pattern. Gonna go for this purpley one. So yeah, we're definitely using a lot more than if we were just going to do a bloom, because it needs to stretch across the whole surface before we even do anything, so that's important. This could turn out a bit weird, this one. About to find out. Bit of that gold. Bit of this amazing Verveum red. I'm starting to run out of this one. No! So we're going to have a bit of a circular pattern here, obviously. I'm going to go a bit of the Firefly. It's hard to describe. It's sort of like a beigey, lemony with a colour shift pink in it. And a blob, if we're talking about this container right here. Now, I've got paint everywhere here. I don't know what's what. I think that's the black. I don't really want to do I want to do the... Alright, I'm going to swipe with the black. That's what I'm going to do. After I tilt this out. I wonder if I need... Yeah, I'm going to finish with some of this. I hope I don't end up with too much of the same colour in the middle. That is very thick. That did not look good. Let's just spin that around like that. I don't really want to lose all that purple. Still a bit too much paint there, Shelee. Now we lose a bit off that side. Bummer. Oh well, we got to get it off. I'll get the amounts right after a bit of practice. It seems to be covering it quite nicely though. So what I'm going to do is swipe through it the opposite way as the lines are going. I'm really impressed with those two that we just did. They're just looking beautiful. The best part about it, I think, is you get that background of all the shimmery pigments with nothing on top of them, and it's a really big flat area of just gorgeous glittery shine. I think that's what's impressing me the most. Alrighty. Now, I've got a bit of a problem because the cardboard that I've put this on is wrinkling up a little bit, so I really want to try to keep what's on the back of this card as even as possible, and that might have ruined it just a little bit. It's alright, we're just going to keep going anyway. That one up there like that. Let me get my skinnier one. Now I'm going to do two skinny ones. I'm going to go this way. Oh, this one's a little bit dodgy. I think I definitely prefer the squiggling all the paint around to get that background first. But we had to find out, didn't we, that's not the best way. Maybe I could get something and ruin this now. Oh, it's looking a little bit bad anyway, so let's put a little bit of a... Okay, so this one is not as great. Oopsie. Can we save it? What can we do? Maybe we can just give it a bit of a tilt and see what happens. The background's just all a bit too stripy for me. We might be able to make it acceptable by... I can't believe it's actually still letting me do a bit of a tilt, which is great. It means if you get an edge or a side that you're really not impressed with, you can still actually get rid of that. There's less room for improvement than in a normal sort of situation where you've got a lot of paint there to choose what you tilt off. But there's still a little bit of room there to fix up some parts. This one might actually end up being okay. It's just a little bit pink and black, that's all. Would have liked to see a little bit more of that purpley colour, breaking it up. That first one we did with the pale pink and that in there is just beautiful. I can't wait to dry that one and put resin on it and show you. So I'm really happy with this new technique. So, you know, it's sort of a little bit different, and it opens up a lot of doors for background colour that with some of the previous techniques I've shown you, you don't get too much of a choice with how that negative space is always white. So this can allow you now to get that beautiful colour around the cells and in the background. So we did save that one. I'm really impressed with that. And now I'm definitely going to set up and do a big, not going to jump up too big. I've been known in the past to go a little bit too big straight away after doing a test. And sometimes things like this might not work on a larger canvas. I'm pretty sure that we won't have the option of tilting the way we do on the smaller ones. But I might just go for their 8-inch. I might have a go on this 12-inch one next. And then go to something a bit bigger after that. So yeah, exciting times. I'm so happy when I find something new like this. Thank you to the person that I saw dipping the card in first. I don't know who you are, I just saw it somewhere on Instagram. Yeah, that gave me the idea to have a go. So yeah, thank you. All right, cool. Don't forget to tune in next time and see how I go with something a bit larger. I think I'll go and mix up some different colors. Might go for something bright. Nicer bright rainbow with some gold in it. Or drop me a suggestion in the comments. What colors would you like to see with this new colorful background swiping situation that I'll think of a name for at some point. But yeah, cool. Happy with that. Bye.